Okay, so here is the worksheet that I'm talking about. I just asked you, actually I can't remember. I think I asked you to print out the first 2 pages, but we're just going to do the first 4 problems for right now, and then you're going to finish the left column today. So the left column continues when you flip on the back, so it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. All right, so you're going to finish the odds today. Save it because then you're going to finish the evens on Thursday. All right, first thing, and I've told you before that I will beat you if you don't do this, you need to write the formula for the area in every problem. So up at the top, just to remind yourself to do this, I'm going to write it as 1/2 the sum of the 2 bases times the height. All right, and again, we talked about in the last video how we got that. All right, so you see how in each of these pictures, you shouldn't be worried like, oh my gosh, are they going to tell me the height? They have to tell you the height. Okay, so you can see that in there. Oh, I forgot I had zoomed out before, so let me do that. Get closer there. Okay, so again, I'm going to write it for each problem. This is the way that you're going to learn it, because you're just going to keep writing it so often. You're going to keep looking back to where you wrote it up at the top of the paper, and by the time you finish this, you will have this formula memorized. So please write it for every problem. Okay, so it's going to say take the area, or to get the area, we do 1/2 the sum of the bases. So here are the 2 different bases, 3.3 and 1.5, times the height, which is 2.9. Okay, so I'm going to do order of operations, which says to do that first. So it's 1/2. 3.3 plus 1.5 gives us 4.8 times 2.9. All right, I'm going to decide to do 1/2 of 4.8. I know it's technically not even because it's a decimal, but it does end in an even digit as its last place. Therefore, I would consider this even. I'm going to ignore that decimal there and say, what's 1/2 of 48? And then I'll put the decimal point back in. So 1/2 of 48 would be 24. So 1/2 of 4.8 would be 2.4 times 2.9. All right, and again, I'm choosing to use parentheses side by side instead of the X, just because I don't want us to get confused by what that means. Okay, so then I'm going to do that on the side. 2.9 times 2.4. 9 times 4 is 36. 2 times 4 is 8. 9, 10, 11. Put down the 0. 2 times 9 is 18. Put down the 8. Carry the 1. 4 and 5. Add them together. 6, 9, 6. 2 places behind the decimal points here, so there's 2 here. So this is 6.96. And then again, do not forget your units. This is area, so it's always going to be square units, and in this case it's inches, so it's inches squared. Okay, let's take a look at the next one here. So again, write down the formula. Area equals 1/2 the sum of the 2 bases, base 1 plus base 2, times the height. Sometimes people say it's the average of the bases because you're adding them and dividing by the number of bases there are. You could think of it that way if you want. Okay, now I'm going to go in and fill it in. I'm not filling in the area because that's what it asks me to find the area, so I don't know what it is. Underneath it, I'm going to write the 1/2. Now I'm going to do base 1 plus base 2. I've been picking the bottom one first and then the top one, but it doesn't matter because addition is commutative, so I'm going to do 0.6 plus 2, just to spice things up here, times the height, which is 2. All right, so it's 1/2. 0.6 plus 2 is 2.6 times 2. Now here you could do 1/2 of 2.6, or you could do 1/2 of 2, because again, multiplication is commutative. So if you want, you can flip these around. That's a 2.6, not 2 times 6, not 2 times 6. And do 1/2 of 2 first. 1/2 of 2 is 1, and then you just get 1 times 2.6. So area is 2.6. And again, the unit was inches, so this is inches squared. Right, if you didn't do that, if you decided to do 1/2 of 2.6, you would get 1.3, and then 1.3 times 2 is 2.6. So either way, it's going to work out because both of these, again, I'm saying even. They're not. This is not technically even. It does end in an even digit, though. And so you could really do 1/2 of either one. If you choose to do 1/2 of 2, you do not need to rewrite it like this. You can just say, oh, I'm choosing to use commutativity of multiplication, and I'm choosing to do these two first and then do it. So you could really skip right down to this step, and I would never know whether you did the half of 2.6 times 2 or you did half of 2 and then times 2.6. It does not matter though. Either way, you'll get the same thing. Okay, I want you to pause the video and I want you to try number 3 on your own, and then we'll come back and check to see how you did. And then we'll do the same thing for number 4. Okay, again, did you remember to write the formula? Half of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. All right, half of base 1, again, I'm going to choose the top one this time. It does not matter. Plus base 2 is 4, and the height is 3. All right, 1.4 plus 4 is 5.4 times 3. All right, this is not a good time to do half of 3 because 3 is odd. I think that would just make it a little bit more difficult, although you could do it, certainly. But I generally try and save that half for whichever one is even. If neither of them are even, you're going to have to take half of an odd number. But this case, we've got half of an, again, quote, even number here because it ends in an even digit. So this would be taking like half of 54. So half of 50 would be 25. Half of 4 would be 2, so 25, and 2 would be 27. So this would be 2.7 times 3. All right, and again, if you don't like that, what I just did, I just kind of did that in my head there. On the side, you're going to write 5.4 divided by 2, and then you're going to do 2 goes into 5 2 times. 4, subtract, get 1, bring down the 4, put the decimal up, and then it's going to be 7. All right, so if you're not comfortable doing that in your head, do not feel bad about doing it on the side right here. Okay, and then we need to do 2.7 times 3, which I'm going to do over here. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus that is 8. So then this ends up being 8.1. They did not feel, oh, I was going to say they were not getting creative with the units because this one's inches again, so inches squared. They get slightly more creative with the next one. Okay, pause the video, try and do this one on your own, and then come back. Okay, did you write the formula? There we go. Area equals 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Area equals 1/2 of 4 plus 1.6. This time I took the bottom base first. All right, times the height, which is 2. Area is 1/2. I'm going to do 4 plus 1.6 and get 5.6. And then times 2. Half of 2 is 1. All right, if I have that opportunity, I'm going to do it. That's going to make my computations a lot easier. So half of 2 is 1, and 1 times 5.6 is 5.6. And then it's meters, so the units are meters squared. Okay, so that's all I have. You're going to do 5, 7, 9, and 11 on your own, and then you're going to send me a picture of the front and back of this. And again, save 6, 8, 10, and 12 for Thursday. Bye.